Hey everybody. So 1 year ago, I sat down in front of my phone camera, holding it the wrong way, mind you, and dozens of takes later, I hit my first video upload to YouTube and started my channel debating over the titles, but I ended up calling it Winding Down Chronicles. I didn't know what I was doing, as most people do, but I did know that I feel that I had a story to share. And I also wanted to document a transition that I was entering into, something pretty important. So today I'm going to briefly look back on the numbers, the statistics, my failures, and my successes, and the raw reality of why I'm still doing this, even when it sometimes just feels like I'm shouting into a digital void. The channel started from a creative motive, but it was actually born inside what was probably the most professionally darkest time of my career. I was in my 8th year working for an organization. It was becoming clear that we were going to lose some major funding for the year. So budget cuts were inevitable. At the time, I didn't know that I would actually be one of the ones being cut, but I kind of felt this train was going to be ending very soon. Besides, I was miserable. I was dealing with a very uncomfortable work environment and situation with the change in leadership. The leadership was incompetent and corrupt. I eventually whistleblew on the new leader to the board, and I would have thought after 8 years of them seeing how I worked, they would have responded a lot more positively than they did. I whistleblew on the new leader for questionable financial transactions. I've been involved in fraud prevention for organizations for 30 years, so I know what I'm doing. The board ended up siding with the executive director, and then within a very short time started icing me out, ignoring me and the complaint. And in fact, I probably could have done something more serious than what I did. The new leader was a former board member, so there was nepotism at play there. Instead of fighting it, I decided this was an opportunity with the budget cuts. I used the budget cuts to end my contract 6 months earlier than it would have naturally run out. It was my way out to get out on a relatively clean note. The leadership was shocked. They were shocked when they heard it. The staff were shocked when they heard it. It was this time that I decided to document this story and process of losing my job at a very difficult emotional time. And then also documenting the planning for our wedding ceremony in Bangkok, and then the move back to what I was hoping would be early retirement in Laos. Now, I knew it was risky to lose a job. It was a decent paying job, and it was a job for the most part I liked. I liked the technical work. I liked the technical side. I liked being part of a mission to help people. And I really was hoping to work another 1 to 2 more years to put me in a better financial position, because I'm sure it would have made a huge difference of my comfort level and my stress level, because I'm retiring on a very modest budget, less than $1 million, and it's not enough to put me in a comfort zone. Basically, my financial planner has me at a 50% chance of failing. It's a literal flip of the coin. But I would rather retire on a modest budget and stress over that than to work for corrupt leadership. So I was looking forward to use my creative side of my mind to experiment with YouTube and see what I could make of it. Plus I didn't have a lot of people that I could turn to talk about what I was going through. So there was some bit of psychological therapy that was happening, a process while I was videotaping myself talk about what I was going through. So I've always been someone behind the scenes. I don't like the limelight. I'm not the one who likes to get the awards. I don't like to be the presenter. I like to help make rock stars. I don't like to be the rock star myself. I'm very shy. I'm very introvert. So putting myself out there on camera and making myself that vulnerable was very uncomfortable and a stretch for me. And I was worried about colleagues finding my videos and perhaps seeing what I might be saying. I never gave names, I never gave specifics, but they were enough that if they listened to the videos, they would know who I'm talking about. That made me very uncomfortable. But here we are, 1 year later. Along the way, I made huge mistakes. If you watch my first video, I was holding the camera wrong. I didn't know that you had to hold it horizontal. Had so many audio fails, so many visual fails. Just learning how to edit software. Some of it was absolutely maddening. Over the last year, I've made on an average 2 to 3 videos per week. So as of today, I have a little over 170 videos. Here's what's shocking with some of them. The best performing video has almost 5,000 views. And it was the one where I did a review of Bolden Software Consultant Coach. That ended up being my best video, and I can't believe it. I almost didn't even make that video. When I was thinking about it and of the things I would say, I was thinking nobody's going to care about this. But it turns out it's exactly what people are looking for. They want to hear the numbers. They want to hear the specifics. They want to know if things are worth spending their money and time on. Well, I was really shocked, and I still am, because I almost didn't do the video at all. The other best videos are my house tours. And then in the top 5, one of them was how I'm becoming an old grouch. That's hysterical. That's still funny that one seemed to take off pretty quickly and then kind of poo-pooed out. That was a fun one to make. On the flip side, obviously my worst performers were my first videos. And that's where I was trying to get my voice. And the video that took the longest for me, that was the most painful, was the vlog I did of traveling over land by car and then train from Vientiane to Bangkok. It was clips of my trip and putting all the information together and working out the quirks of the software. It was absolutely maddening. It took me weeks to finally be satisfied enough to hit upload. And it did okay. Second to the most hardest one I did was the cost of living in Laos. And it's just difficult. I use iMovie. So YouTube is still a mystery to me after a year. I see some channels, similar early retirement stuff, they seem to explode overnight. Here I am, 170 episodes 1 year later, and I'm not even close to being monetized. I'm almost halfway to the number of hour views that I need. I only have 35% of the 500 subscribers needed. But I see some other channels, they just seem to explode overnight. I know there's probably a backstory, a lot of pain on their end. And frankly, I see people watching, I'm still gaining hours, but I don't understand that the dislike and dislike buttons stay untouched, even though there could be several hundred hours viewed on one video. There's virtually no 1 or 2 or 3, 4 likes or dislikes. Just to give you a statistic, my most watched video, the Bolden one, has almost 5,000 views, but only 36 likes. That's less than 0.1% of the views. I don't quite understand why when someone watches a video you wouldn't like it or dislike it. The thumbs up gives a signal to the creator if you liked it or not. And the second thing it does, it tells YouTube, move this on to more viewers. But basically to everyone out there, that it doesn't cost you anything to hit the like or dislike button. So I'd really appreciate it if you could do that. Hit like or dislike, if you think I'm a nut job or think I'm crazy talk here. It's just been a mystery for me. When I watch a video, I usually like or dislike it, because I know it does help YouTube know what to do with it. It's funny. I survived being a hostage in Somalia for months and almost being killed on multiple times. And here I am being stressed out about a like or dislike button. Crazy. So if you enjoy the transparency on this video, if you enjoy my frank, raw talks and my stupid comments, I'd really appreciate it. Just give me a like here. April just passed. This is my 1 year anniversary on YouTube, and April was really hard. April was hard emotionally, financially. I just did a video on the hits I took last month. It's costing me more here in this first couple months than I completely underestimated. The stock market was down in March. My financial plan, my financial plan came back. I paid $3,000 for that. They told me I had a 50-50 chance of success. And then we made a trip to the deep south part of Laos. The fuel costs were triple what they should have been. My wife got into a bad accident. It was just really difficult month. I got nailed with my taxes for last year and a couple ghost expenses that totally punched me in the face. I even started looking at jobs again, because I'm like, I can't afford to continue like this. And on top of that, I was feeling kind of useless. The time we spent out there, I just didn't know what to do. There was nothing for me to do. I couldn't communicate. I couldn't use any of the things that they use. It was more primitive style cooking and lifestyle than what I'm used to here. I just felt really useless, and I felt like I was melting, for 2 weeks. So it was good to be out there. And I know the family enjoyed having us there. They didn't want me to worry about anything, but still, it was really hard because there was nothing to do but melt. And so I really had a hard time just staying motivated, just to stay constructive. Probably some of the most constructive things I did was a couple videos and studying a little bit. I still played my guitar a little bit, and I still don't speak the local language that well, and they speak kind of a jungle dialect, so it's not real pure Lao. So that was some miscommunication there. If you're not familiar, the north and southern parts of Laos, they speak a little bit different than like the hardcore Lao in the middle of here around Vientiane and central Laos. At least the Lao that I'm learning. My wife told me this because since she has sometimes a hard time understanding some of the people. Anyway, I'm stubborn. I push through the pain. I always have. I'm doubling down on my theme for Abide, Discovery, and Recovery for the year, and following that theme moving forward. And I'm going to continue to make these videos for now, at least for now, because some people might be interested. So to all my 160 subscribers so far, thank you very much. I'm really grateful, and please give me a like or dislike. I'd just like to see some feedback. So for year 2, I'd like some feedback from you. What do you want to see more of? Do you want to see more of the finance side of things? If what specifically, other than what I do already? Do you want to see more about life in Laos, the lifestyle, the culture? Do you like the retirement fail series that I'm putting out? So year 1 was surviving a very difficult work experience and transitioning out of that into retirement. And then year 2 is discovering what's next, which I'm not really sure what. I'm going to continue doing what I do until I get inspired or redirected in some other direction. Thanks everybody for joining me here at Winding Down Chronicles. I really appreciate it. Give me a like, or don't like it, I don't know. Something, write something. I did get feedback from someone on one of my videos. They didn't like the way I was spinning around. It seemed like I was spinning around in the video, and I took your advice. I realized that I didn't notice that, but yeah, I could see your point, so I'm trying not to do that. I do like the walking videos. They make me help to think more clearly, and the walking and talking is less stressful than just sitting here looking at the camera, but I can't really do that around here. It's not convenient. The noise is horrendous once you walk out the street. It's pretty quiet back here except for some noisy neighbors and kids that you can hear. I'm probably the loudest one in the neighborhood, but I don't say much that often. Usually my neighbor here is playing guitar sometimes, but he's not doing it this time. Anyway, I'm rambling. So let me know what you think. Thanks everybody for joining me here at Winding Down Chronicles. Take care, God bless, and take it slow.